Hello all, this is JC3 from Is This Real? Do you want to start your own podcast? Then look no further than Buzzsprout.com. We here at Green Hour Media use Buzzsprout, and we love the team at Buzzsprout. They are all about helping you succeed. Buzzsprout gets your show listed in every major podcast platform. Follow the link in our show notes to let Buzzsprout know that we sent you. It gets you a $20 paid Amazon gift card if you sign up with a paid plan and helps support our show. Join us and over 100,000 podcasters already using Buzzsprout.com to get your message out to the world.
From the Keith Winston Kayla Studios in Paterson, New Jersey, Green Arrow Media proudly presents Is This Real? Tonight, we're going to discuss the Bermuda Triangle. What happened there, what is happening there, and what will continue to happen there. And now your host, JC3.
Welcome everybody to another fantastic episode of Is This Real? On this week's episode, as Big Joe said in the beginning, we were talking about the Bermuda Triangle, or the Devil's Triangle, if you will. On today's episode, we got Big Joe in the booth. Say hello to everybody, Big Joe.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our program.
We got Joshua Roblox Rivera next to me. Joshua, say hello.
Hey, yo, what's going on, everybody?
And then we have the ultimate leech, Anthony, the Don at the desk. No, I'm joking. I asked you to fill in because Mr. West can't be with us for a couple weeks, so we asked Anthony to fill in because he has nothing to do. So, Mr. Don at the desk, what's up, Ant?
You know what? I'm going to be the bigger man and walk away. What's up, everybody? How's everyone going?
All right, so this week we are talking about the Bermuda Triangle. What's wrong, Joshua?
Nothing. Continue.
Oh, Joshua, I'll let you start this week, Joshua. Do you want to give an intro?
I don't want to start anything.
Okay. Dad, do you want to start us off with the Bermuda Triangle this week?
Why not? The Bermuda Triangle is a triangle between the coast of Florida and Miami, Bermuda, and San Juan, Puerto Rico. Thank you and good night. No, that was
that's the episode, folks.
That's it.
Pretty much. That's a place, like I just said, where it was, and over the years, mysterious happenings, planes go missing, or if they do fly through, they notice that their equipment is all messed up. Boats go missing, again, with them, too. When they do get through it, they find out that, as they're going through this, there's a weird fog and mist and everything else. Let's see, what else we got going there? There was a lot of planes that think that they went through a time warp or and stuff like that. A well-known story is one where a pilot was flying a plane, and he was about to land, and he's noticing the landing, the area where he was supposed to land, but then he took a good closer look, and he realized that it's not what he thought it was. It looked like it went back in time, but yet he was still making radio communication with the flight tower, and no one seems to understand how that could have happened. He might have went through a time warp. We're not sure. There's different speculations that this could be something that aliens frequent that area, or it could be magnetic fields from under the earth, or from in the earth rather. There's been no set scientific answer that I know of. I mean, if I'm wrong, if anybody in here wants to correct me, and it does continue to this day, where there's hundreds of ships that have gone missing, planes that have gone down, and it's just a generally creepy place, and it's a wide area too. It's if you look at it on a map, it's really, it takes up almost one half of the eastern seaboard. If it was to be that, up closer to New York, but it isn't, thank God. But that's
the range between 500,000 and 1.5 million square miles.
Yeah, that's a big chunk of real estate out there, And like I said, there's been no clarity as far as what's been going on. There's different speculations, but nobody knows for sure.
Well, the original coined phrase for the Bermuda Triangle came in 1964. By the phrase first appeared in a print in a pulp magazine article by Vincent Gaddis, who used the phrase to describe a triangular region that has destroyed hundreds of ships and planes without a trace. Despite its reputation, the Bermuda Triangle does not have a high incidence of disappearances. Disappearances do not occur with greater frequency in the Bermuda Triangle than any other place compared to the Atlantic Ocean. 2 incidents have involved U.S. military craft.
That's correct.
In March 1918, the USS Cyclops, en route to Baltimore, Maryland from Brazil, disappeared inside the Bermuda Triangle. No explanation was given for its disappearance, and no wreckage was found. Some 27 years later, a squadron of bombers, collectively known as Flight 19 under an American Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, disappeared in the airspace above the Bermuda Triangle. As in the Cyclops incident, no explanation was given and wreckage was found.
The creepy part of Flight 19 was the fact that this guy the mission was flying was what they called a dead stick mission, which means that they were only flying without using any major equipment, and it was a training exercise. So it's like, the theory goes, if you're flying a plane that's damaged and you have no way to guide that plane with any instruments on your dash, on the dashboard of the plane, how can you fly and know how to get back home? Mm-hmm. Right? So they were flying this dead stick mission, and I'm very skeptical about the whole Bermuda Triangle thing anyway. To me, it sounds like he took a left turn in Albuquerque. You know what I mean? He got lost over the fucking thing. Everyone was following him because he was the one in charge. What did you say his name was? Charles Stacy?
No, Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor.
Charles Carroll Taylor. Everyone, they were like, we need to pull back. And he went, I'm the one in charge. Get fucked. Follow me. Because he was so sure where he was going. And they must have ran out of fuel and crashed somewhere over the Atlantic.
How many planes were involved in this, Steve?
I believe Flight 19 had 14 planes.
Okay, so that's to me that's a little more than
Again,
just following somebody.
And no wreckage was found.
Yeah, there's got to be something found.
It's at the bottom of the fucking ocean.
It doesn't work that way, Anthony.
Well,
wreckage.
here's some more
These
facts
planes are so lightweight
about what is known about the Bermuda Triangle. So Charles Berlitz popularized the legend of the Bermuda Triangle in his best-selling book, The Bermuda Triangle, 1974. In the book, Berlitz claimed that the fabled lost island of Atlantis was involved in its disappearance. In 2013, the World Wildlife Fund, or the WWF, conducted an exhaustive study of maritime shipping lanes and determined that the Bermuda Triangle is not one of the world's 10 most dangerous bodies of water for shipping. The Bermuda Triangle sustains heavy daily traffic, both sea and air. The Bermuda Triangle is one of the most heavily traveled shipping lanes in the world. The Agonic Lane sometimes passes through the Bermuda Triangle, including a period in the early 20th century. The Agonic Lane is a place on Earth's surface where true north and magnetic north align, and there is no need to account for magnetic declination on a compass. The Bermuda Triangle is subject to frequent tropical storms and hurricanes. The Gulf Stream, a strong ocean current known to cause sharp changes in local weather, passes through the Bermuda Triangle. And the deepest point in the Atlantic Ocean, the Milwaukee Depth, is located in the Bermuda Triangle. The Puerto Rican Trench reaches a depth of 27,493 feet at the Milwaukee Depth. That is what is known. What is unknown about the Bermuda Triangle is the exact number of ships and airplanes that have disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle is not known. The common estimate is about 50 ships and 20 airplanes. The wreckage of many ships and airplanes reported missing in the region has not been recovered, and it is not known whether disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle have been the result of human error or weather phenomena. So that is what is known and unknown of the Bermuda Triangle.
Yep, that's about it.
So there's again, you're going to have the theories, and you're going to have people who. See, look, you have differences of opinions here, and I'm going to use you an example.
Okay.
You're a very pragmatic person, very stick to the facts, don't really sit there and, talk about a lot of conspiracy theories. You focus on what's in front of you.
Depending, yes.
Dad, you're not that you don't stick to the facts, but you sit there and you can think outside of the box.
No, the difference between Anthony and I is I believe that anything is possible because there are so many things out there that is unexplained, and you just can't. You can't explain it with a calculator and a slide rule.
That's what I'm saying.
Rule. You need to, if everything, and it's just like I'm gonna when we used to start watching the Ghost Hunters, with the tax guys or whatever. Not sponsored, by the way, but anyway, their approach is you check everything out, you rule everything out. If somebody tells you the door opens by itself. Well, you check out if there's a draft. You check out if there's a cold spot versus a warm spot in the house. And then when you rule it out and everything gets ruled out, well, the only thing left then at that point could possibly be, remember the word could possibly be something paranormal. Now, again, when you do that and you check everything out and you don't find anything and it's accompanied by, a ghost speaking or an unearthly presence, well, then you got to say, okay, you know what? That really just blows away anything that's normal. And our brains are, made to think like that. Our brains are basically said, you know what? You got to figure this out, but you can't rule out anything at that point. And that's how I look at it. And then if it comes down to where it's methane gas, like it says here, if it's a methane problem, well, then you got to say, okay, it's methane. But does that explain when you're in the triangle? It could explain the mist. I don't know. I'm not a scientist, but will that make the compasses go crazy? Will that force a boat to be sunk?
Yes, that would. Methane gases changes the density of the water, and when the density of the water is changed, that means you cannot stay afloat, and that means you go to the bottom of the ocean. However, if I remember correctly,
Russia is in Europe. Go ahead.
No, Russia's not in Europe. It's in Asia. What the fuck is wrong? What the fuck's wrong with you? Now, if I remember correctly, there hasn't been a major methane release in that area.
Stand by.
Okay, correct me if I'm wrong.
Hold on. Before we get into theories, this is just the opening. This is the opening, people.
Oh, I'm gonna fucking fart.
All right. Oh, that's what he meant. I thought he was actually talking about a theory that
I thought he was going to correct me. I was like, no, he's just going to blow wind in my face.
I'm gonna fucking think maybe you'll sink. Fucking douchebag.
No, he floats. We all know that. Joshua, I think you could back me up on this, though.
Yeah, you hover.
Before we go
to the stadium.
Before we go to break, you know Anthony a long time, and you know this family a long time.
Wait a minute. We're not turning this to a shit on Anthony episode.
We're not talking this a shit on Anthony episode.
Oh, I'm going to shit on Anthony.
What I'm saying is Anthony doesn't think outside of the box a lot.
To a degree, yes.
And to where Dad, he thinks outside of the box more times than not.
Well, fuck you.
First of all, Dad is more open-minded because he's more interested into the paranormal than anything else, than anyone else that I've ever known. So it definitely, to me, seems more open-minded. Tony's more the direct and
if it's not backed up by science.
Unless you show him facts, then yeah, it could be. But there are some things... I mean, there are times where you come up with wild fucking ideas that don't make sense, but that's
true. That's true. Listen,
that's his lunacy.
I'll explain myself in a very simple way, right? Einstein was at a party once. I'm not saying I'm Einstein. Just hear me out. Einstein was at a party once, and someone asked Einstein for his phone number, and he reached into his wallet to give the man his phone number. He had it written down, and the guy goes, "You're the smartest man on the fucking planet, and you can't remember your phone number." He goes, "No, I don't put stupid shit in my head that I don't need to be there." So if I read something and it's a mystery, and then I start reading about things that make no sense, I immediately dismiss them. Because it just doesn't. If it makes no sense, and I'm sitting there going, this makes absolutely zero sense. Why is it? Oh, but it could be. Yeah, anything could be. But let's look at reason and logic, and if it's fucking... Okay, I can't prove aliens. You can't do that. I mean, the government might be able to prove aliens soon, but I cannot prove aliens.
We already tackled that.
So if someone's going to sit there and say that aliens have been abducting people and ships and planes from the Bermuda Triangle, I'm going to go, I need some sort of proof, other than just going, I have an idea. That's where I'm at.
That's why at the end of the show we ask, what do you think? Because, we don't, again, I don't think
we sit there and we give the facts. We give what we know. Right. We give what we've researched. And then we sit there and go, all right, base your opinion on what the evidence that has been brought to
there's
you.
not one.
There's some episodes that we don't have a lot of evidence.
I don't believe we've gone one episode where at the end any of us have said, no, you know what? I do believe in it, and it's absolutely there, and the rest of you are incorrect. I don't think that's possible. I don't think that's the way we carry on. I mean,
No, you don't.
No.
I'm an avid listener. You don't do that at all.
But, it's...
this is going to be fucking chat.
Are we going to break?
Not yet. Hold on. So, when we get back from break, we'll talk about theories that have other... Like, we talked about the knowns and the not knowns, and the knowns that we don't know that we know, and all those type of shits.
What?
But we'll sit there and talk about...
We got to put this on video. This is too good.
We'll sit there.
Josh alone.
We'll talk about the theories that are coming up. So we'll be right back. We're just going to go take a short break.
Hello, hola, konnichiwa. I have a very important question for you. Is this real? That's the motto of our weekly podcast. We question everything from the paranormal to conspiracies, even the extraterrestrials. There's no topic we won't dive into. So tune in and listen to our show every Sunday at 8 p.m. And remember, folks, question everything.
Hi, this is Anthony from Multimedia Mafia. If you love what we do and you want to know more about us, head on over to greenarrowmedia.org. On there, you're going to find links to both Multimedia Mafia show and our sister show, Is This Real?, which is all about conspiracies and aliens and all sorts of wonderful stuff like that. If you want to support us, head on over to our merch page where you can buy a hat or a mug. We have lots of different designs and cool colors. If you want to meet us, we got pictures up there. We have a little biography, and you can even stream the show right through the website. And hey, don't forget to check out our YouTube link, where you can check out all the filming that we do right on our YouTube page. Check us out, greenarrowmedia.org.
And we are back. So, before a little break, we're talking about, the Bermuda Triangle. We're talking, the beginnings and what we know and what we don't know. Now, these are theories. Now, I'll read them. And I'll read, let's just put it like this, because we had a little talk and break that I just read based off of everything. I'm going to read what it could be. You guys just fill in the details. How about that? Is that better for you, Anthony?
Well, I mean, since I'm the more pragmatic one of the group anyway, I have my own book that I was looking at by a guy named Larry Koch. I think I said his name right. I could have fucked it up. I don't care. Larry wrote a book in the 70s talking about how the Bermuda Triangle was solved in his eyes, using science and facts and stuff like that to disprove a lot of your theories. So
I didn't even bring up the theories yet. No, they're already disproven.
Not your theories, but a lot of the theories out there. So I'm going to be quoting some of his stuff while you quote some of that stuff. So look, we're tag teaming. Keep going.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hey, Ryan. Hi, this is Sarah Palin.
Ryan, Donald Trump Jr.
Hogs to win, see you. Hey, everybody, I want y'all to check out a fellow Marines podcast.
My name is Ted Nugent, and I got a call from my buddy Ryan F. Samuels, and he wants me to tell you that he's a working hard, playing all-American son of a who is celebrating God, family, country.
Welcome to the Ryan Samuels Show, one of the top political podcasts in the United States, where we have a healthy distrust for government and mainstream media. The Ryan Samuels Show is a raw, unfiltered look at American politics.
I don't ever want to tag team with you. So with time, there have been attempts to explain the disappearance with innovative hypotheses. Taking help of science, natural phenomena, and even paranormal. One such explanation is based on methane hydrates that are highly inflammable crystal-like compounds that get trapped below the ocean floor. And if methane gas erupts from such hydrates, it lowers the density of the water and its buoyancy and can easily sink a ship. While that might be a remote and hypothetical possibility, it has never been seen or known to have ever happened in or anywhere near the Bermuda Triangle.
True. And also, if I remember correctly, there hasn't been a huge outbreak of methane gas in the Bermuda Triangle for like 15,000 years. I read on a website So it's like, it does happen. We've never seen it. That doesn't mean that it's never happened to a boat. But in that area, for that to happen, it's like almost a 1 in a million shot. And that wouldn't explain the planes, though. Planes go missing. That is one thing. Boats go sinking is one thing. You ain't going to sink a boat, an airplane.
Do you know a place that has had a high methane gas outbreak lately?
No, where?
Anthony's basement.
Getting back to the podcast.
Anywho, another theory was the compass variation. It was said that the Bermuda Triangle is one place where the compass points to true north, and the captains failed to make the necessary adjustments. The fact is, a compass always points to the magnetic north and not the true north. Mm-hmm. There are a few points on Earth's surface, such as a narrow channel Bermuda Triangle, where the angular difference between these two north poles becomes 0, and that is when they appear to be on a straight line to a ship. Unless a compass variation is adjusted by the captain, the ship could land up miles away from its targeted destination, but the assumption that why some captains might not have done this is never answered. Even in earlier days, all captains were well trained and experienced in preparing the navigation charts, taking into account the compass variation as a matter of routine practice. So,
human error could have fucked it up.
Yeah. So nothing supernatural. There's also theory about electronic fog. Electronic fog. That sounds fucked up.
Sounds like sounds like a band from the 70s.
But that would appear from nowhere and engulf a ship or a plane, and finally causing it to disappear. What is electronic fog? Hutchinson. Oh, this is a whole thing. Electronic fog, due to lack of scientific explanations, these have been so far treated as unreal tales.
So is it like fog that fucks with electronic instruments, or is it fog with electrical properties?
Something similar to what the Canadian scientist John Hutchinson could demonstrate in his own lab. It is something like a grayish cloud of electromagnetic fields that get formed above the ocean. Such electronic fog seems to appear from nowhere and completely engulfs a ship or an aircraft. So it's electronic field. So it fucks with I get what you're saying. Magnetic field around. Another theory that became quite popular was the Sargasso Sea, where nature's law apparently seemed to be different and unusual. Sargasso Sea is a sea area in North Atlantic which is bounded by ocean currents in all sides. The exceptionally calm sea, still winds, and the vast dense seaweeds that float on the water surface here would have stranded many sailing ships in the early days. Although several derelicts, is that the word?
Yes, derelicts.
See, I can read. Although several derelicts were found here in modern days, any ship can easily steam through this water area. Believers of paranormal brought in several supernatural explanations to the incidents as well. Few of such bizarre theories included the mythical city of Atlantis that lay under the ocean, is able to destroy ships and planes with its powerful crystal energy, aliens capturing aircraft for their experimentations, time warp in the Triangle area, taking ships, planes, and people into a different time and space, which has never been seen or proven until, still hasn't been proven. Through generations, the legend evolved and took a mammoth shape of its own through various such hypothetical and imaginary explanations.
I don't believe in the Atlantis theory at all. If Atlantis was anywhere, it would be somewhere either in the Mediterranean Sea or off the coast of Portugal.
Do we have the city of Atlantis on our sheet this season?
I don't believe so, no.
I don't think so either.
There is another place that Atlantis could have been hypothetically, and that was off of the British Isles, I believe. But there's nothing I don't see how anyone can sit there and go Atlantis was in the Caribbean. It makes no sense. So especially since Atlantis, if I'm not mistaken, was originated, the legend originated in Greece. So if it was something that was trafficked to and from in eons ago, before it sank into the ocean, that means you would be traveling across the ocean to get to Atlantis and back, and the distance would be too great to travel with boats and ships of that time. So if it was closer, like in the Mediterranean or off the coast of Portugal and Spain, different story. It's right there. So I don't believe anything when it comes to Atlantis being somewhere lost in the Bermuda Triangle. That's bullshit.
Yeah, I don't agree with that one either. To me, it's just like, the crystals or whatever.
Well, I'll be honest. There's a lot of people that sit there and anything that has to do with sea, someone, some way, will shoehorn fucking Atlantis into there.
Yeah, it's a kind
There's
of
always someone.
It's a go-to thing.
Here's something interesting that I find. Right, it took, I think, 50 or 60 years to find the Titanic. I think the Titanic was found in the mid '80s, Dad.
I think so. Yeah.
Right. It sank in 1912. It was discovered 65, 70 years later.
But didn't James Cameron go to the bottom there?
That was 98.
Okay.
Huh?
That was 98.
That was 98 when he made the movie and all that shit. But even before that, 95 when he was filming, 96, whatever. But it was discovered, like, we found the fucking thing. We knew it sank somewhere around here, and then we found it in, like, the 80s. And that's because somebody knew it was a big fucking deal at the time. When it sank, it was a big tragedy. Thousands of people fucking lost their lives, and somebody never gave up the hope to find it, and he found it. You're talking about ships that were merchant ships. You're talking about 14 or 15 planes of Flight 19 had maybe 20 guys on it, the crews all together. This isn't a major tragedy. These are people have been lost at sea now, and they wound up at the bottom of the Atlantic. No one's looking for the wreckage.
Well, no, there's a lot of people looking for the wreckage.
I mean, I'm sure there is, but the ocean's a big fucking place.
I'm glad you brought that up because I got an article here in front of me about the boat. It's called the Cotopaxi. It sank during a storm just days after it set sail off of off of St. Augustine, Florida. And they finally found the wreckage. They didn't know for, umpteen years where this thing was. And they finally found it, leading to my point. I believe with the True North and what's the other one? True North and what?
True North and Magnetic North.
And Magnetic North. I do believe when they do cross each other, something happens there. In my opinion, I believe it causes some kind of magnetic field in that area. And that's what renders these boats or planes, useless. It fucks with their instruments, and then for some reason, the boat will sink and the planes will either crash or just blow up or whatever.
Well, can I propose a theory?
Sure.
Because there's been a lot of stuff that I've seen, online, and these aren't videos that. Because I've seen a lot of videos that are like this, so it's not like people are sitting there editing them or anything like that. There's been videos out there, and I don't know if Anthony you've seen, I don't know Josh you've seen, same thing with you, Dad, of just times and instances where something just doesn't seem right. Like people will be filming something, and like the perfect example is one video of a guy filming, I think it was a bird. And the bird in the sky, it was frozen.
Yeah, that was done by more than one people.
Yeah, there's been a couple videos, and then like they'll go up, like if they could touch the bird, they'll touch the bird, and the thing will fly away. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, could this be something like that, where a lot of people turn around and say that it's a glitch in the Matrix?
Yeah,
that's what they attribute it to. I don't know. Have you ever seen those type of videos, Josh?
Me personally, no. I've heard about them, but I've never actually seen anywhere stuff like that happen.
I also believe that because of the vastness of the ocean, and I'm not just talking this part, I'm talking about all over the world, we only have explored
10%.
10%. I mean, so you had 90% that we have no idea what's going on with. Now, if you recall a couple years ago, Flight 365, I think it was, the Malaysian flight, completely gone.
The first one or the sequel? Because there was two of them that went down.
Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know. I think it was the first one, and
the classic.
And it's gone. And to this day, we don't have no idea where it is. So did that happen? Did that also happen as well? Did that get out there somewhere? And because we don't know what's going on under the water, we don't know what's creating the the electric fog. We don't know any of that.
Yeah.
So there's to put a label on this and say, well, no, this didn't happen, that didn't happen. The Lost Atlantis thing, I think you're right. I think they're way off base with this because again, that seems to be everybody's go-to. The plane went down. Well, it's Atlantis.
It's just like with the desert, they go straight to aliens.
Sure.
With the desert,
to me is a little different because, when you're in the desert, you can see a lot of things. There's no light to block your view of the sky. Now, if you were to make my point, because you've never obviously been to the desert, neither have I. But if you were ever down the shore on a very clear night and you're on the beach,
stars,
you can see stars up in Sussex.
What do they call it? Ambient light or?
No. It's clarity. That's all.
Yeah.
It is.
Now, if you're up in Sussex County and you're like in a parking lot somewhere where there's no lights around, it's like being in the desert. Trust me. And you have. You can see everything. So to be in the desert, you don't know what you're seeing up there too. Again, the vastness of the ocean versus the vastness of space. I mean, you can see a shooting star. You can see ships in the night, whatever. And there have been reports of different craft out there that we don't know what it is. And our own government now is telling us this.
Oh, yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to say. But I just don't think you're going to pinpoint this as far as this. When somebody tells you we've got it figured out. No, you don't. You don't have it figured out. You're not going to figure it out until science gets it done. I'm getting the speed up sign. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, no. So we will continue this conversation after a short little break. We'll be right back.
We'll be back after a quick break.
Hello, nerds. Come listen to the History Nerds United podcast, and let's make history fun again. We interview today's best authors, whether they are established Pulitzer Prize winners or someone debuting their first book. Let us show you that history is not a boring class you took in high school, but a place where the best stories come from. And we don't just cover history. We also love to chat about true crime, biographies, memoirs, and so much more. So head on over to History Nerds United and let us introduce you to your new favorite book and learn the story behind the story.
History Nerds United.
If you're looking for a dining experience like no other in the North Jersey area, Soprano's Pizza and Restaurant is your place. Located at 400 Minnesink Road in Totowa, New Jersey, Soprano's offers pizza, sandwiches, Italian delights such as specialty pizzas, seafood, soup, salad, burgers, sides, and much, much more. Free delivery on all orders, more convenient ordering online. Download the app on Google Play or in the Apple Store and track your order. Or if you prefer, just stop by and pick it up. Either way, Soprano's Pizza and Ristorante in Totowa always satisfies. Pleasant staff, exceptional atmosphere, and great food. Open 10 to 10 every day. Visit their website at www.sopranospizzeriamenu.com or phone 973-256-7115. That's 973-256-7115. Soprano's Pizza. Give it a try.
And we are back to close out this little episode of ours. So we gone through our, the initial basis of what the Bermuda Triangle is, what has happened in the Bermuda Triangle. We gone through the theories of what could have happened and what, little things here and there that we were like, I don't think so. Now, obviously, I don't think anybody believes in the Atlantic, the city of Atlantis.
I don't.
No.
Joshua.
Not.
It's a podcast, Josh. That's the yes or no. You have to talk.
I'm sorry. I'm also reading at the same time, all right? Give me a fucking second.
Well,
No, I don't believe in Atlantis. I believe that there was cities and shit like that because of the whole old myth of, Pangea.
Well, what I'm saying is it has nothing to do with the Bermuda Triangle.
Yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, none, yeah.
I believe in all the other shit, but that, no.
All right. So,
But, I just want to read one line because I feel like I'm a 5-year-old.
Oh, and you haven't talked the entire episode, so go ahead. Have your
Yeah, exactly. This is my one line. It's going to be like I'm 5 years old again. So, some explanations are more grounded in science, if not in evidence. These include oceanic flatulence and disruptions in geomagnetic lines of flux. All right, I'm done.
So, you're telling me...
Ocean farts.
Ocean farts.
Yes.
That could be the reason...
Because I'm a 5-year-old that likes fart jokes.
So,
methane gas erupting from ocean sediments.
Yes.
That's all I wanted to say.
Same about the methane gas. We already talked about that.
So I know, but you didn't say oceanic flatulence.
You just want to say flatulence, you fucking 5-year-old.
So this dude in the 70s wrote this book about how the Bermuda Triangle ain't shit, right?
Huge.
He makes a very good point. He said some reports of incidents did not happen at all. Like in 1937, a plane crash reported off Daytona Beach. However, no report was found in the local newspapers when the incident had supposedly taken place. Like, he's saying that shit happens. When the myth got big, people started adding to the myth.
That's always.
And that sort of became more steam to make this thing seem so much more real. Mm-hmm. And he's like, no. When it comes down to it, this is a violent part of the ocean. It's no more violent than... ships disappear and get fucked up no more frequent than any other part of the ocean, and nothing special is happening here.
You see, that's pretty general, though, to me, because you got to be, if you're trying to figure out what's going on, to just say, you know what, don't look over here because it's just violent ocean and that's it. Well, that's kind of general because you got two different types of mysteriously things that are missing. Now, granted, I can tell you the boats have sunk. We got proof right here. You know, and I don't take the theory that the aliens came down and took the whole fucking boat up. I don't believe in that. You know, I don't believe that at all. However, it's not beyond the realm of possibility. But you can't. When somebody does that just annoys the shit out of me because they're ignoring other things. To say, you know what, it's just not common sense. You know, common sense tells me, fuck common sense. You gotta explore everything. You can't paint everything with one brush because if you do, then you're backing yourself into a corner.
No. I don't think he's painting everything with one brush. He's saying that like, here's your explanation.
From him.
And no. He's going, here's your alien explanation, and I don't think that's true for X right amount of reasons. Okay, give me the next theory. Let me debunk that. Like, he's gone through each one.
Looking to debunk something.
Yeah, exactly.
I can do the same thing. I could basically debunk any theory, anything, by using, you know, common sense and whatever.
It comes down to, as he said, a manufactured mystery. There's no mystery about it. Most of the incidents were accidents or violent weather, human error, equipment failure, or were simply misreported or deliberately misreported.
Well, I can't. That's great, but how many times you're going to have one boat and then 30 years later a plane equipment failure? You're going to. I mean, you know, and it happens more frequently in this triangle. That's what I'm trying to say. I mean, you know, he might be right, but
he was also debunking a lot of the stuff that the Charles Berlitz book was saying. He, you know, the one that said like Berlitz wrote another book before this one saying that it's this big mystery and here's all the evidence and shit. And then his direct quote is, if Berlitz was to report that a boat was red, the chance of it being some other color is almost a certainty. Like it reminds me very much of, I want to say Jay Anson when he did the book about Amityville.
Right.
And how, because you have said that, like, don't believe a fucking word he said. Mm-hmm. Everything in that book is full of shit. Mm-hmm. And that's what this guy's doing, but except it's not. He wrote a book saying that the other book was full of shit. And where versus you, it's like, you know, this is your research and your opinion that you've told me. Mm-hmm. Like, well, Jay Anson's book is full of shit.
Jay Anson did take liberties with the Amityville Horror. I mean, there's no question about it. He got in a lot of trouble for that, too, because, you know, and then you know, then they made that movie that they filmed down the shore, you know, in Tom's River. And that was, it made the book look like it made sense. You know, so, yeah, in that situation, you're right. He took absolute liberties with a story that the people that were involved in the story go, no, that's not what we told him, you know. But he sold a lot of books.
Yeah, the problem is you don't have the ships and the boats here.
Exactly.
You know, if say tomorrow we find the missing planes, or we find a couple of ships somewhere in that area, then everything about the Bermuda Triangle just got fucked in the butt. Nobody would believe a single thing if you found one of the ships. But the problem is it happened in 1945 when Flight 19 disappeared. That was over 70 years ago. No, I know it doesn't matter. My point is, no one is like actively looking for it with a passion. You know what I mean?
No,
like,
there's a lot of people who are actively looking
that's
for
not
for
true
a
either,
passion.
Anthony. This is a
the ocean's that big.
No, the reason is because if you sit there and look at, if you find these ships, if you're the first person to ever find these ships instead of gone missing, do you know how much money you're gonna fucking get?
Yeah, I understand that. You're absolutely right. But a lot of these people are searching for these planes and these missing ships with a popcorn budget. It's not like the government is sponsoring.
Dude, last year, it's not. You don't need to be sponsored by the government anymore.
No, what I mean is they don't have a lot of bankroll behind them.
Last
to get the
year
best
there was a voyage to go find these ships in the Bermuda Triangle, sponsored by the History Channel and Discovery Channel. Mm-hmm. You're gonna have people that have backing that go searching, and they didn't find nothing.
Yeah, that's fine, but I will say that's fine. I'll give you that. I will say the one caveat to that though is History Channel, Discovery Channel is notorious for I'm gonna just put it like this: edging a lot of people. It's like they get you so pumped up and you're just about to blow a load and like, oh my God, they're going to find it. And then nothing ever happens. Every fucking episode on the History Channel comes down to we found evidence, but we haven't found the thing. Tune in next season. It's been 24 fucking seasons. Can we find the fucking thing already? Or pull the plug? Because everyone's going to eventually get up and go, fuck this. You haven't found shit. They do it with a lot of these mysteries.
No, I agree with you.
So there is that aspect of like, hey, we're making a TV show here.
I mean,
too.
I know Dad's not going to like this, but that fucking show that he watches about the Canada thing.
Oak Island.
Yeah. Well, see, that's coming from a person who doesn't watch the show. And it's not that they're not finding stuff. They're finding a lot of stuff. They just haven't found that treasure that they're looking for. They're not finding that.
Right.
See, when you dig at a depth of 108 feet and you come up with a piece of parchment paper, or you come up with beams that were hand hewn, that's not a mystery. That's not nothing happened here. That's they're onto something. They are. When you come up with a lead cross that's carbon dated back to the 1300s. That's something. Why is it there? So no, you're right. They didn't find it, but they're using science. There's evidence of something that went on there. And if you're looking for that show, and I know the History Channel is going to push that show as, oh, they're looking for treasure. That's not what's going on there. They're looking for the story behind the treasure, and of course, yes, they are trying to find the treasure, but every piece of evidence adds up to the story of what's going on there. And the story is all, I mean, you can say what you want, but the evidence is there to suggest something strange happened on that island, man-made on that island. So when anybody says, well, they haven't found the treasure, I'm not going to watch it anymore. I'll watch it till they cancel it.
Right, but I mean, at least with that, they are, like you said, they're pulling up shit.
Right. They're adding to the story.
Here's a cross, here's a coin, here's some parchment.
Right.
What have they found when it comes to the Bermuda Triangle?
Hold on, Joshua, you're very intently looking for something. What are you looking at?
So,
I mean, if they found a propeller, if they found like a propeller or something, I'd be like, okay, we got something here. But they haven't found guts.
Well, they found the cut epoxy.
I'm looking to other like scientific finds when it comes to ocean waves and stuff like that. When they clash, I had like a little light bulb in my head. I was trying to figure out how the currents work within the Florida, Puerto Rico area. It doesn't look like it was what I thought it was. Looking at a map, I'm not sure how old this is.
Because that looks like old.
It does look old. But if it's anywhere near like current as what it is, apparently the currents, ocean currents, go in a giant circle when it comes to the Atlantic Ocean. And it looks like in the middle, it does a giant circle. I was thinking something like that, but closer to where the Bermuda Triangle is. I was thinking what happens when waves collide. Was crash like what if
where currents collide?
Yeah. What if it was like 2 or 3 or even 4 directions of
water?
Currents that
has
come
anyone
together?
heard of any whirlpools happening within the Bermuda Triangle or anything like that? Has there been scientific?
Not that I've heard.
See, that's the thing. That's why I was thinking, because I think it could be possible.
Well, they did talk about the Sargasso Sea.
Exactly, but that's a lot of water coming together.
Mm-hmm.
And the only real difference is one is hot, one is cold. There's not much happens when those collide. more of it is more if one wave is stronger than the other wave will just kind of like support the bigger wave, and it'll turn into like a tidal wave.
Oh yeah,
You know,
the difference
like
with that is if you could sit there and if there's you could have a lot of explanation for ships going missing within the sea. A lot of them. You could sit there and ocean magnetic whatever stuff whatever you want to say as far as the ocean. You can sit there and the explanation. It doesn't explain for planes going missing. There's no explanation of what the planes.
That's what I was looking to. What if something happens when more than one wave of water crashes? You get what I'm saying? Like the ocean current, let's say for whatever reason, just in that spot specifically, the geomagnetic field causes water currents to come from different directions, and they all crash. There's not much explaining other than, like I just said, when water collides, it'll either cancel out, so it'll kind of be like just a moot point where they meet and then that's it. Not much really happens. Water goes right back where it was coming from. Or one feeds into the other and it becomes kind of like a wave like you see at the beach. Or, I mean, there's not too much of a strong one. I figured what happens if more than one meet? Is there some kind of electromagnetic waves that can occur from something like that? Like, the one thing we always say, Tony, when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object, like what if something like that? What if there's enough kinetic force meeting from these waves? Or maybe it's something below the water, the tectonic plates like move just in a certain way where there's an opening that causes some kind of weird whirlpool or something like that. I'm just thinking of like all different scientific possibilities for this Bermuda Triangle and what could be the aftermath or effects of such water stuff like that, which is why I was like Joey said, I was intently studying map and shit like that over here. Because even if you go on Google or wherever the place is and you ask what happens when waves collide, you don't really get much of an explanation except for a couple people who may or may not know what they're talking about. Like I just said, the waves will either interrupt each other, they'll cancel each other out, or one will add to the other. I thought there might be some kind of weird scientific reaction or discharge or something, because it's like you get all types of energy from literally everything on the planet, so it's like maybe that can cause something. And I've been looking around, like found nothing other than what feeds into waves.
So you have to, I don't know.
As far as the planes, right? There have been plane crashes, and stuff like that, missing things off around the Bermuda Triangle for a long time. It always has. But there have been ones where shit went down. We don't know why it went down, but we found things about it. Like, I mean, I was just Googling a couple of different ones. Like, you have the Douglas TST-144. That happened in this happened in 1948, right? So this plane went down, and it had 13 people in it, or 32 altogether, right? So they say that it went down somewhere over the Bermuda Triangle. It departed San Juan from Miami. It had some known problems in the electrical system and nearly discharged batteries. They took off. The takeoff clearance was given, provided the crew contacted San Juan after takeoff to file a flight plan. No one did that. And they continued to fly, and they lost radio contact. And then it was missing. And then they found a couple of bodies off the coast of Guantanamo Bay in Cuba in January of 1949. Mind you, that plane went down in, where'd it go? December of 48. So a month later, they find bodies floating back in Cuba. And they said that the probable cause was, the board lacked sufficient evidence in this case to determine the probable cause. They're not sure. But something fucked up. Human error is a big factor in a lot of these plane. I guarantee you, human error is going to be the leading cause of why these planes went down. As far as Flight 19, from what I've read, the captain was like, I don't know where the fuck we are, but stay with me. This is a dead stick mission anyway. We're just going to keep flying like we're a dead stick. And he was. He took the wrong... Everyone followed command. No one broke off and said, fuck you, captain, we're a subordinate. They followed him to their deaths, and he went missing. They all went missing. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think there's a lot of these planes.
That's just something I can't buy that theory. And I understand your point, but I can't buy when you have 14 planes. Not all 14 of them are.
Sorry. There were 5 planes.
All right, 5 planes.
14 airmen.
Okay, that's a little different. But how when you see one plane in trouble, you're not going to do what the same plane is doing.
Well, that's the thing. They weren't in trouble.
They just got in trouble with something.
They were flying, and they were following the leader, the lead plane, and they were sitting there going, "We're off course," and he was like, "No, we're not. Stay is what I'm saying." Mm-hmm. And they went, "Okay, you're the one in charge. We're going to just keep following you, Captain." And it did not happen. They kept going, and they got fucked up.
I just find it hard that pilots would take orders into their own death. I mean, that's just me.
Well, I have 3 different accounts right here about, one C. This one's about a guy in a plane. This is from 2001. Paul Vance's Bermuda Triangle account, June 6, 2001. The story involves Vance and Gurdon spotting a single light high aloft from their sailboat. Oh, well, I guess it was a sailboat. He told me it was a plane. Sailboat while the 2 men were about 11 miles offshore. A mist formed and started spinning below the light. Once the mist formed and started spinning and it shaped some sort of... it was shaped sort of like a top. The light descended into the mist and the formation glowed orange for a couple minutes before dissipating. The sailing vessel's auxiliary gasoline motor then began running rough. Later, the engine was found to have a cracked ignition coil. Mm-hmm. Vance said he doesn't know what is going on in the Bermuda Triangle, but he's pretty sure it involves an electromagnetic anomaly of some type.
Yeah. I mean, shit's fucked up. We have planes and boats that are not in tip-top condition going into bad, an area of the ocean.
Okay, first of all, how what do you mean they're not in tip-top condition?
Well, who knows what the status of these planes that they were flying in? You know what I mean? Was it someone who was carefully thorough? I mean, there are planes now that are in the sky where, like, fucking the outer casing of an engine comes flying off. I mean, that happens. It's a common thing. These are machines. They're used and used and used. We take care of them, and then all it takes is one dickhead who forgot to tighten the right lug nut or check the fuel over something. They take off, and that thing is now fucked up.
Well, I mean, but I'm saying if everything's going in perfect condition when they go in, and then something like...
Well, that's the thing we don't know. As far as Flight 19, they got lost. Taylor kept saying, the lead guy kept saying, just follow me. I know where the fuck we're going. At 18:20, what's 18:20 military time?
6:20.
6:20.
6:20 p.m. The last message he said was, all planes close up tight. We'll have to ditch unless landfall. The first plane that drops below 10 gallons, we all go down together. They were flying dead stick mission, and they got lost at sea. And he kept saying, just follow me, we'll get back home, and they ran out of fucking gas. That's what happened to Flight 19. And they wound up somewhere off the coast of Florida, but we just don't know where because it's the fucking ocean. It's
where
big.
Did they start?
I can't say you're wrong. I don't know. I
you
just
know where
find
they
it
started?
far-fetched, that's all.
They started off of Fort Lauderdale. And they started at 2:10 p.m. So they leave Fort Lauderdale, 2:10 heading 91 degrees. They dropped their bombs. It was a training mission, but it wasn't real bombs. And they kept flying. Okay? So then they turned...
Did they have their position, though? That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Then they turned left and flew 73 nautical miles. Right? Then they turned left again because they figured they went out to sea. They turned left. Now you're heading north.
Yeah.
Right? They turned left. Now they went 73 miles. Then they're like, okay, we should have seen the coast of Florida by now. We don't. Let's turn left again. So they did. Mind you, this is a mission where they're not using their fucking equipment because it's designed that way. It's a training mission. Mm-hmm. So they turn left again. At that point, you think they're going to fly right back over land because they would be heading west. Mm-hmm. But they didn't. They flew for 120 miles, and then they were like, I don't know where the fuck we are. And then radio triangulates that their position was within 50 nautical miles of their last reported course. So they got lost somewhere over the fucking ocean. The islands that they were seeing off the ocean, they were like, okay, do we land there? Do we not land there? I don't recognize them, but I should recognize them. And then they lost contact.
Did any mysterious shit happen? Storms, anything like that?
Not reported. It was a clear day back. It was December 5th, 1945, Florida. It was a clear day. There was nothing reported fucked up as far as the weather. What happens is they were flying. The guy fucked up, and this was someone who'd had a lot of training in the air. But he's capable of human error, too, on a mission where you're not supposed to be using your equipment anyway. And like I said at the top of this broadcast, they made a left turn at Albuquerque, and they wound up fish food.
Well, that seems to be... Well, they're obviously dead now, but it seems to be a scene because, nobody knows what they ended up because we never found the wreckage. So we don't know, but it's good speculation. But I'll sit there.
This was a direct quote. Both my compasses are out. I'm trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am overland, but it's broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys, but I don't know how far down, and I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale. And
why was the compass out?
The compass was out because Power says, I don't know where we are. We must have gotten lost after the last turn. This is FT-74, boat or plane calling Powers. Please identify yourself. Someone can help you. And then they tried it again. He just said both of my compasses are out. That's all he said.
All right. Well, all I know is we'll sit there and we'll start with you, Josh. What I don't know. Do you believe in the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle? Do you believe in the hype?
No, not particularly. I mean, the only thing I can say I believe in when it comes to Bermuda Triangle would be the electromagnetic fields. If they do occur, how exactly do they occur? When do they occur? Like, it could just be luck of the draw, and it's, these planes were at certain times where the field was strong enough in the ocean at that point. It could fuck up their aviation gear or even, boats and stuff like that. That could be a different situation only because depending if they were navigating the ocean correctly, maybe they hit a spot that was a little bit higher than the other, something like that. I don't know, to be honest. Most of the time, just like Tony said, it's human error. I mean, I can't really give a good explanation or reason or rhyme or whatever for this. It is a mystery. I mean, scientifically wise, it is. It has a lot more questions, even though they say they, solved it or whatever. I don't know. It's mysterious to me. That's about as much as I can say.
All right, Anthony.
I don't see the hype of the Bermuda Triangle. I think the ocean and the world in general is still, there's so many things that have yet to be discovered and things that we just don't fucking understand how they work yet. I like thinking of like the shrinking God theory. Thousands of years ago, something happened mysterious, and he was like, you could explain only so much, and the rest was, the rest is God. And then science advanced and time passed, and then we could explain that next chapter of that thing, and then we hit that wall again. The rest is God. And the more you explain it, the less impact God has on that mysterious thing you're trying to figure out. That's kind of how I look at the world, and especially something like the Bermuda Triangle. The boats are there. The planes are there. They're just in the fucking water. We don't know where they are. Everything is somewhere. Like, I can't believe in any sort of dimensions to a different place. I don't believe in Atlantis. I can't understand why an alien would want to take a fucking boat out of the water. I mean, hey, that's what gets the aliens' rocks off. God bless. But I don't think that's the case either. I don't know. But I don't believe in most of the theories. I just think it's a violent part of the ocean, and the ocean's vast. And until we have the capability of having the most advanced sonar where it can detect the tiniest thing, crystal clear precision, or we have a way to drain the fucking ocean, we're never going to know what happened to these planes. But they're in the water somewhere.
All right, Dad.
Well, there's a couple of theories I don't believe in. I don't believe in Atlantis, as I said earlier. There's just a lot. There's a lot here that isn't here, if you know what I'm saying. Mm-hmm. In other words, there's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of what could possibly be, and there is no evidence. I mean, with the electromagnetic thing, I can't blanket like what Anthony said. Well, they're there somewhere. I can't guarantee that. There is no guarantees. However, if gun to my head, if I have to make a choice, and then listen to Anthony, what he had said about the 5 planes, it's starting to make a little more sense to me. That if the equipment was out, but why was the equipment out? That's what I want to know.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Okay,
before.
if the equipment was out or the equipment wasn't working in the triangle, was it the electromagnetic? Was it true north versus, again, help me out here, Anthony?
Magnetic north.
Magnetic versus true north. Was that the reason? Again, we don't know. However, there's a lot to go on as far as the possibilities. Now we know we found one boat that was sunk. We haven't found the planes yet. Chances are those planes are in the water. We don't know. If they are in the water, well then, why were they in the water? What happened there? What? We're getting back to the root cause. What was the cause that there was a malfunction in the instruments?
Yeah,
that's what you got to look at. And if you can get to that point, then you can say, and it could very well be that the planes are in the water, but again, why were they in the water? What happened to the instruments that they couldn't find land? Why did that one guy take off, and then all of a sudden he saw the land, but then he's communicating with the tower, and he's like, look, my instruments are telling me I'm right over the airfield, and they're like, no, we don't see you. Was he in a time warp? Was he in that's documented. It's not like somebody's making that up. So.
No, I agree with you.
I do believe there is something there. I don't want to sound like, the big deal, but I need the proof to me. I need somebody to show me, to find out. You get to find out why this happens to the instruments and the electric fog. Therein lies your answer. No matter where the boats are, obviously they're in the water.
No, I think. For me, at least, I couldn't have put it as best as you did. I'm in the same line as you thinking, because there's too many mysterious factors to sit there and just say, well, it's only this or it's only that. You know,
can't pinpoint it.
It's just you can't sit there and have a straight pinpoint of, oh, it was this or it was that, because it's very hard to sit there and say, if there was planes found. And we knew, all right, this is what happened. This is why mechanical failures happened. Okay, then there's no mysteries.
Right.
But nothing was found yet. And granted, yes, it is the ocean. It's very deep in that area. It's very vast.
Does anybody know if they actually went on any kind of mission to find Flight 19?
I'm sure there's been plenty of people who have gone looking for them. But again, like I said, unless it's somebody with boku bucks who can get the top-notch instruments.
Well, just think about it. Yeah, just think about it. James Cameron was the first person to go deep into the Titanic.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't the first one. He didn't discover the fucking thing. I forget the guy.
What I'm saying, deep into the Titanic.
No. The people were going deep into the Titanic, balls deep into the Titanic before Cameron showed up. He got there and he had the money to flex to go down and see it for himself.
That's what I'm saying.
People were already like. There, just
they had the equipment to go deep down where it was, just like Cameron did.
Yeah. They were there first. That's how the guy found the fucking thing.
I think he also got a lot of money from a lot of people.
Oh, he absolutely
to say, you know what, you need to go out there and we need to find this boat. You're our vehicle to do it. Here's a couple $100 million.
And again,
from our sponsors.
And again, there's a difference between a tragedy that cost thousands of lives and 13 soldiers or 15 soldiers. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But so for next week's episode, gentlemen, and this is going to be expensive, Anthony making fun of it because I know he's already going to do it. We're going to do the bridge at Overton in Scotland. Now, the bridge at Overton is very famous because it's pegged the dog suicide bridge. So there's been hundreds of dogs over the years for no apparent reason that have jumped to their deaths off this bridge.
I know why. I can solve this mystery. You don't even have to have it. Because if it happened in Scotland, they probably couldn't understand the thick accents and said, fuck it, I'm out
We're
here.
never going to have fucking people in Scotland now.
You're not going to believe this. I was walking my fucking dog. Inside the little lad decided to go swanning off the fucking bridge.
I personally don't care. I just care for famous in Japan.
Hey, Nelson, I thought you were walking your dog. What happened? I was. Fucker did a swanning off the bridge.
Yeah, turn them off. Just turn them off.
I said, fuck it, I won't get...
So, That's what next week's episode is about. And I really want to sit there and
Wouldn't you commit suicide if you had fucking haggis every day?
Can we end this fucking episode?
Yes. So next week's episode is it's called The Overton Bridge.
Dad's wearing a kilt again.
Deep into that. So, gentlemen, say goodnight to everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.
And we'll see you guys next week.
The
Remember,
night you said my wife was fat.
Good night, everybody.
remember, everyone, question everything. Good night.
Konnichiwa, bitches. It's Ryu West speaking. If you want to find out more about the Is This Real podcast, follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/isthisrealpc, or on Twitter at isthisrealpc, or on Instagram at isthisrealpodcast, all one word.